The bliss of the abyss, it's here now.
Hello there, welcome to another episode of The Bliss of the Abyss. This week on the podcast, I have my very good friends, the original pod members, Christopher and Indra Neelan. These guys were on the show about a year ago, and it was one of the most popular episodes, and they've been requested to come back, so back they are. Before I dive in, because it's a really fun episode, lots of craziness and just hilarity and interesting things, but there was a problem. One of the cables was a bit loose, and so that means that Indy's audio sounded like this. Quite far from the louder gentleman.
Yeah, don't make him laugh.
Every time you laugh.
That's what you'll have to do.
Luckily enough, as I was recording with 3 microphones, you can hear him. He's just not quite as crystal clear as me and Christopher, and that's not because we are trained actors with great diction. It's because I'm having to use the background audio from our microphones to play him. Otherwise, you'd just be hearing that. So, sorry he's a little bit quiet, although he's the least interesting one anyway. But nevertheless, I still, having listened to the episode, think it does hold up, and it's a good time at the movies. So put your feet up and settle in for the pod.
Cruise Hill is the most amazing place that I've ever been to in my entire life.
Tell the people what Cruise Hill is.
Right, so Cruise Hill is this like bit of kind of London, which is like right on the edge of Enfield, really.
Yeah.
It's like it's honest. It's where London ends.
Yes. Arguably, London has already ended by
Arguably,
the
it's
time
already, I mean,
you get
the postcodes now say EN, so that is
You've crossed fields by the time you get to
you're certainly on the edge of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get to Cruise Hill, and all of a sudden you're on this long road that has nothing on it but garden centres, shed centres, paving centres, pet shops. It's like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life. I've seen garden centres. I come from the country. It's like London has even managed to do garden centres better than the country. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, the thing is, we took them all and put them on one long road. Obviously, you can't pack them in like a high street.
Yes.
We made a high street of outdoor huge shops.
Yes.
Basically what we
Yeah,
did.
well, I mean, I'd love to have been in the meeting because it was a really, really good idea. Yeah,
Well done, guys. That's what
yeah
you'd have
this
contributed.
is perfect. If you need something, go to Cruise Hill.
Now,
Yeah.
you strike me as the kind of guy that loves wholesale, and if you could buy in bulk, that would be good for you.
Well, I mean, I tell you what. I mean, obviously, yes. I mean,
Let's start there.
only of certain things, screws, nails, things like that. You know, things that you need to fill the shed with because they always run out when you need them. But I will say the best thing about Cruise Hill are the people that are selling sheds.
Why?
What you're talking about? You go to this place and it's X amount of hundreds of square feet, and they've just got all the sheds set up. And
So you can get in, you can walk around, you can see how the door goes, see the height clearance.
you can see everything.
This is like it's important because there are certain products that are just large, right? And when you go do your regular shopping, if you decide you want something, you quite like to go to a shop and you're like, oh, there'll be like 50 of them there.
Yeah.
And I can choose. I
Yeah.
can have a look between them all. Where do you go for large products?
I know.
You can't.
Well,
like,
this is what the department store was always for, wasn't it? Like, when I was buying a new bed, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Do I use one of these internet companies?
No,
and then
mental.
one comes and I'm like, I've never actually fucking tried this bed out.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just lie on it, I'm like, this is shit, and it cost me 800 quid.
Yeah, no, you need to go to a place that has all the beds set up.
And if there's not enough space, you get to a shop and there's like 5 beds there.
Yeah, and you're like, really?
Am I really getting a good view of what's
Yeah,
on there?
this is a full market comparison, is
Yeah.
it? 5 beds.
Yeah.
And you lie on all of them, they're shit.
And the worst thing about getting into department stores and their layouts of large goods is that as a child, I
Yeah.
distinctly remember absolutely hating being brought shopping
yes,
to
same.
go and buy large items laid out in a department store.
Yeah.
Yeah, hated it with
I did as
all
well.
of my heart. Yeah.
Well, often you'd have to like walk through the toy department and be
Yeah.
like, "Come on, guys,
Yeah.
we're going to carry on walking.
and you
This is where it's at."
and you're jumping on the sofas, and your mum's going, "Don't jump on the sofas." Yeah, but it's all sofas. There's nothing else here.
Yeah, you know the shop that I remember from being a kid and being like, oh, I really love going there?
Oh my
It
god!
was the Aquatic Centre on Cruise Hill.
Well,
That's
a
What,
pet- that's a-
turtles, fish?
Yeah.
What are you
just all
talking?
the-
Piranhas?
Yeah, all the fish tanks.
but
They're
that's-
just beautiful. Like all these
Yeah.
different
Yeah, but that's not
tropical
the
fish tanks, the big ones in ponds with the giant fish that will come up to you and nibble your finger.
yeah,
Fully
but that's,
agree.
but that's obviously great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I wonder if the pet shop market in Cruise Hill sprung up solely due to the demands of small people being dragged around.
Right.
In the
Yeah,
same way,
you need to capitalise on
in the same way, there's a Mahusif garden centre there, which has restaurant and play centre, and I was like, yes,
Brilliant.
because they know the
Yeah.
problem, which is that the little people go mental. I do think, as a little person, I might have enjoyed the shed area. Lots
Yeah,
of
probably.
hiding.
You've kind of always been into that stuff anyway.
Well,
Really? He was already getting out his tape measure, being like, you know what,
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a small asterisk on that. I don't entirely know if that's untrue. I feel it is. But no, the potential for hide and seek in a shed centre is
Huge.
very, very high.
Yeah.
High potential for getting in trouble as well.
Yep. But if you've got other kids with you, you're kind of
Yeah,
safe.
and obviously I was one of five, so there was always, and there was always one that was naughtier.
When did you first experience IKEA? 'Cause as a kid,
when
if
did
you
I
go-
first
if you're going to a
experience
shop
IKEA?
with the idea of playing hide and seek, then IKEA has got to be a mecca.
I think,
I feel
unfortunately,
like it was kind of new for us growing up.
Yeah,
Even though it already existed, obviously.
yeah, IKEA came pretty late in the game.
I think it came late in the game, right?
I
Yeah.
don't actually know. I didn't go till I was already a man.
I think exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think I might have been teens. I was dragged along, and I was like, "What is
I was
this?"
almost 30.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, I
That
think-
is late to the game.
I think by the time I was going around an IKEA, I was actually trying to furnish one's own home.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
for you?
Yeah, or rather, one's own tenant flat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's not to say you can't play hide and seek as well,
yeah.
but
It's frowned upon.
IKEA is one of those places that the first time you go, you absolutely love the linear layout. You're like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I can see everything. And now you're already like, fucking hell, I have what I need. I just want to go and pay for it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The arrows never quite point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, there's a shortcut through there, is it? And you go in and you're like, oh, what is this? You follow an arrow on the floor.
you know if you follow the arrows, you will get out.
Yeah.
You also know it will take you a long time.
Yeah.
And you make that mistake, and you strike dead for where you think the
Oh.
exit is.
There's an
That's going to be worse.
And like 3 hours later, you find an arrow again.
You know what it's like? It's a type of knowledge I realise I've lost, which is knowledge of the tube, in that I know where to get on,
no.
I know where to get off, I know where to wait on a platform, I know the shortcuts at various stations. That's gone.
Yeah, dude.
I'm going to these stations, I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, what now?
I completely agree.
And I just follow the arrows.
Yeah.
And it takes me ages.
We all know that at King's Cross,
Oh,
don't follow the arrows.
Don't follow the arrows.
You go the old way. And,
Exactly.
But you have to know. And the other day I did it. I was like, I've gone the new way.
See, it happens to you.
It takes so long.
It takes so
What are
long.
they doing?
I can only presume they send people that way because it's wider and less people die.
Yeah,
in the,
it's
in the
dealing
crush.
with the traffic flow,
But,
surely,
yeah, the
which
old-
now feels empty and whistled.
I
Yeah.
just always imagine that they sent people that way because they spent a lot of work trying to make that tunnel, and then we're like, come and see my new tunnel. We have to go this way.
The new way, which probably isn't new now, is it? It's because we're all
Few
old.
years,
It's been a
yeah.
while.
I think the new way was put in 2012.
There's the new ones, which is brand new, just yesterday, I think. New tube stations have opened.
Where?
Let's see if they're any good. 2 new stops, an extension of the Northern Line. I fucking love tubes. I'm such a nerd for tubes.
Whoa, where's this?
I've never heard
After
of this.
Kennington, 9 Elms, Battersea Power Station.
What?
2 brand new tube stations.
What?
Yep.
Is that on the...
Yeah, because you know how the Northern Line, it ends at Kennington and then you have to cross over and the branch goes down?
Yeah.
So Stockwell and all of those things.
right.
Now that one carries on.
It curves
Yeah.
back west.
And
Yeah.
it curves out
No, it's-
east.
Yeah, it's east, yeah.
9
Is it
Elms
east?
and Battersea Power Station.
No, it can't be.
It is east. It
Can't
is
be.
east.
Battersea's west. Isn't it?
Battersea's west, yeah. So-
Of where? There's no definitive
Of the
Battersea
rest
is
of
west.
Of the rest of the Northern Line.
Not from Kennington, no.
my
It's
geography
east.
might
It's
be
east.
completely fucked up.
We're
It's
cutting
east.
new ground.
It's east.
Okay, it might be east. I mean,
It is.
But here's another fine example of my geography of London was basically based solely on the tube.
I was about
and
to say that if you start fucking up with the tube line,
Yeah.
you really mess up Londoners.
But have you seen the actual geographical tube map?
yeah, it's mental.
So yeah, but that's exactly the point. That's
Yeah.
why you might be like, that's not east, is it? It's
No,
like,
exactly,
no, but
yeah.
it is,
It is,
because
yeah,
it goes.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating and fun seeing that map, and then I instantly forget it.
Yeah.
Go back to imagining London. Goes along the
I think the only reason that doesn't excite me is I'm sure the only reason it's been done is because Battersea Power Station has now become a
Yeah.
soulless
Absolutely.
block of apartments and
Multi-million
and high
apartments.
street shops.
Absolutely, yeah. So now it's 15 minutes from the centre of
Yeah,
London.
which is a bit because
So-
Battersea Power Station is awesome.
Yeah.
and it's shit that it's now not awesome.
There's some cool stuff there, though.
What? Like a cool stuff you can find somewhere else? Like a,
Cool-
what,
cool
like a
stuff you can
fashion,
find somewhere
a
else.
fashion retailer?
No. I don't think fashion retailers are cool.
No, exactly. Well, so what's cool there?
There's a cinema in one of the old arches.
We've got cinemas.
And this one is way more expensive. The problem with everything in Battersea Arches is it's 10 times more expensive because it's right there and it's super new.
Oh, in the
and
arches.
It's hipster.
Okay, well that sounds.
So they've
more
redone
fun.
all the arches,
Yeah,
which
okay,
are cool,
that's
but everything's overpriced. And the power station itself is like opening in bits and pieces.
Right. Because the best idea for Battersea Power Station was, I don't even know how seriously it was being considered, but when they were talking about Chelsea turning into a football
How would they have
ground,
done that, though?
Well, they didn't. So presumably it was decided to be too difficult.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes,
That would be cool.
That is exactly the sort of thing that should be done with Battersea Power Station, rather than houses and shops.
It was always going to be houses and shops.
It's houses.
Everything is houses
and also
and shops.
not even houses. I think there's something.
Oh,
during,
no, flats.
Something during lockdown was like I bought my brilliant new glass-based apartment in Battersea Power Station, and now during lockdown it's really, really hot and there's nothing nearby.
Hey, the weird thing about... Sorry, Indy, I interrupted you. Go after me. The weird thing about Go after me. I'm already talking. The weird thing, because I was there the other day, walking around, they have loads of estate agents, right? Obviously, realtors, right? Because it's all for sale. Every advert looks the same. Because they're just built, just prefab. The only difference is it's like floor 8, floor 3, and it's like a couple more 100,000, and everything is just boilerplate, just bam, bam, bam.
Oh no, sorry, we went for Indy.
Well, the only problem with this is that, you know, you live in Brixton, I live in Turnpike Lane.
But what's my address?
No idea. Honestly, no idea. I know what it looks like.
It ends in a crescent, and there's.
Yes, it
I could describe it perfectly.
But we live in both of these areas, and whilst they do still have character, Brixton more than Turnpike Lane, I think.
Yeah.
The fact is, over the last decade or more, Turnpike Lane has added cafes and shops.
Yep.
And I'm loving it because the area is nicer. So it's all very well for me to complain that Battersea Power Station has lost its character and now has more shops.
Yeah, but the character it's got is well shit, bro.
Yeah, but as far as the Turnpike Lane character's been lost as well. It's just nicer.
Yeah, because it used to be... The thing is with Battersea Power Station is it was a big fucking plot of land with nothing going on.
Yeah.
Pretty near to central London.
Yeah.
And the idea for the tube line has been in the pipeline for ages. So if you're a developer... It's one of the biggest development sites in Europe.
It's pretty funny if they
It's huge.
conceived of and finished that tube line before Crossrail.
They have.
Which is amazing. They
have.
were building Crossrail when I first came to that London.
Yep.
Back in the year 2008.
Imagine the time.
And the Crossrail, or the Elizabeth line,
Oh, fuck off.
still doth not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they're still working on it, or they're just like, no one cares
Well,
anymore?
presumably
It's all just to pump up the housing market.
Yeah, it is.
As soon as they
It
built
100%
the
is.
prices will stop rising
Yeah.
because we know how good it is.
But the thing
Yeah.
is as well, like they completely ruined Tottenham Court Road. That used to be a lovely.
they made it so
When I
weird.
first came to that London, that crossing, Tottenham Court Road was fantastic. It had a really good chippy on the corner. It did.
Dionysus.
Really-
I remember we used to go there all the time. It had good kebabs
It was
as well.
fantastic. There was a really good nightclub, Sin, which was like a rock nightclub, which from having been out in the sticks where such a thing doesn't exist, nightclubs equal, normal dance music.
Yeah.
To suddenly go to a rock nightclub, I was like, shit! And then, like, within 2 months of me coming to London, it was pulled down.
Knock it all down!
So they completely ruined Tottenham Court Road.
Of course.
And there's no Crossrail.
No.
And that's why they did it.
But in theory, there's Crossrail.
The
The east-west line.
Yeah.
Why has it got to be called the Elizabeth line? Why does everything new have to be some kind of like royal, great British bollocks? It's always that.
Well, I mean,
do we have to brand everything that way?
Well,
presumably
I feel
because
like if it wasn't, it would be the Etihad line.
Yeah, he's right.
He's completely correct. He's
You're
completely
right.
correct.
That would be worse.
What was
Okay,
it?
fair enough.
What was it?
The
What was it?
Etihad line.
What was it? The Fly Emirates cable car.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's
actually on the network, so that
Which took
proves,
you from
everything.
which took you from somewhere you didn't want to be in the first place to somewhere you didn't want to go to.
Yeah. No one's taking that.
In a very slow way.
But you can look over the river at these deprived areas.
Part of the river, east of the Docklands, that everyone wants to see.
What is it? It's like Canning Town on one end and like Greenwich or something on the other. No one goes to either of them. No. Especially people from Greenwich aren't trying to get to Canning Town.
No.
They're like, I'm going to stay in Greenwich, thank you very much.
There's an island. There's a stop on the island Hogs called Mud Shoot.
I know.
That's what they're naming stuff after there.
I understand, my lord, that this place is named because of its function, but should we change it? No, of course not. That would be stupid.
Yeah, what's wrong with Mud Shoot?
Well, I do hear you, my lord, in which case...
What do you call that over there? The mud's coming down.
I'll put it on the posters then, shall I, sir?
And tar it up as well. Make it look nice. Make that mud
I
shine.
haven't really heard of marketing purposes behind that.
But then there's like one part, there's a station after it called like Cyprus, and then there's one called like India or something.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, India makes
what?
sense to me, because presumably, once upon a time, things would have been received from India.
Is that East India Dock or near East India Dock?
Well, I don't know.
Probably is right near East India Dock. And actually, to be fair, Cyprus is that way.
Yeah, but
and
like...
the shipping lanes...
So the rest of them,
But,
and everything's that way, really.
The rest of the empire is that way.
My challenge...
We call it Empire Dock.
My challenge to your glib resignation of why it's called Cyprus is that I don't know that there was a major trade route to and from Cyprus.
What's Cyprus got a big production of? Olives?
Well, this is the thing. Cyprus has been mainly, historically, valued, indeed, prized, not for its actual economic output, but for its perceived beauty and status as a jewel in your empire's crown.
Well, a strategic location as well, right?
Yeah.
It's right there in the Med, so you've got access to everything.
But it was never like I don't know. People used to fight. People have fought over. Britain hired it off the Ottomans.
What?
Yeah, we hired it off the Ottomans.
As a holiday destination.
Yeah.
Just because it was beautiful.
Yeah, no, the British Empire...
loan us your Cyprus, will you?
Like a piece of art.
Yeah, we hired...
And clearly we're great at giving art back.
I've got to tell you about the piece of art thing.
Exactly.
But carry on.
We loaned it, or they loaned it to us, and then basically when the First World War broke out, we were like, oh, well, the people who've loaned it to us, we're now at war with. And then they
might just hold on to it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Awkward, should we say.
Yeah.
And then the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, And
in the same way, and why there's a lot...
Quids
I'm not going to go into a big history of Cyprus right here, right now, but one of the...
Too late.
The cause of much of the trouble in Cyprus is that... and after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, there was a big nationalist surge for the Hellenic nationalist surge. Greek peoples wanted to be united under Greece. Most of the islands, even though they were owned by the Ottoman Empire, were Hellenic in culture and everything else. And when the peace treaties were drawn up, they gave them all to Greece, except for Cyprus. Britain quite liked Cyprus.
We'll keep that one.
And so we'll keep that one, please. Yeah.
Thank you, it's lovely.
And as you can imagine, that was not very popular with the Hellenic nationalist movement.
Is that how the
on
line
the
got drawn down the middle of it?
No, we are doing it, are we? Right. We
don't have to.
We won't go too far into it. Essentially, the Hellenic terrorists causing lots of trouble for the British. The British were like, this is a bugger. We don't really want to be fighting a terrorist campaign in Cyprus. They were like, hang on a minute, we'll apply the old divide and rule. And so they basically recruited, employed people into the police and the army who were of Turkish descent. Therefore, when the terrorists took action, and they were essentially killing people of Turkish descent, which basically,
lit the fire
lit the fire of an ethnic conflict that didn't actually exist before.
Right.
They genuinely lived pretty peacefully.
Yeah.
Lit the fires of an ethnic conflict, which is eventually why we end up in a situation where people are getting killed in the street. Turkey
and there's
invade,
a hard
and
border.
there's a border,
border there.
all because of the British. Now, what I'm saying here,
with India
I
and Sri Lanka. Exactly.
I don't know, but is it?
Well, definitely Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
And Pakistan, with
Yeah,
that's what I
remember
mean,
East and West Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh.
Okay.
What I've just
Yeah.
said, by the way, will make Greek Cypriot and Turkish
I
Cypriot
know.
listeners extremely
Furious.
cross, because that
Yes,
version of
it's-
history they don't like at all.
Yeah.
The one version, the version they like is that the other side was a bastard.
Yeah,
But
of course.
The,
Well, that's
the, but
tale
the,
as
the
old as
version
time.
actually is that Britain
Britain were bastards.
Britain divided and ruled them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen that video? And I know we're more complicated than crows and cats, but there's a video of these two cats that are kind of existing with each other. But you know what cats are like? They're not like naturally hanging out with other cats. They're kind of like, you stay over there and I'll stay over here kind of thing. But these crows decide to fuck with them. So there's like 3 crows, and what they'll do is they'll go around the back of the cat and just kind of peck at the cat a bit, and that forces the cat closer to the other cat.
No.
And then they do that to the other one, and then when one cat's looking the other way, the crow pecks him and then flies off, and the cats start fighting.
Incredible.
And they're like, "Oh, you fucking bastard, I'll kill you!" And then they separate, and the crows start doing it again. They're
Amazing.
just fucking with
Yeah.
them.
Amazing.
Because you can just hijack their... But anyway, that thing you said about art, did you know... do you know what Salvator Mundi is?
No.
It's the most expensive piece of art ever bought at auction.
Right.
$450 million.
This is a painting.
It's a painting by Leonardo da Vinci. It shows Christ going like this, and it's got a crazy
Rob
story
crossed
where
his
it was
fingers.
like, yes, thank you very much, good. It was like painted over at one point, and they had to like peel off layers of it. And Abu Dhabi, I think, no, the Louvre in Dubai.
Okay.
Is it Abu Dhabi Louvre?
Yeah.
Okay. They bought it. And they were like, we're going to display it. And it never got displayed. And the word is that Mohammed bin Salman has it on his yacht. By the way, his yacht cost $330 million. So this painting on the yacht is worth more than the fucking super yacht itself. But the reason I'm telling this story is because Bill Gates hired it for 2 weeks. Guess how much the weekly cost was to hire it?
I can't even guess. I mean, 100 million.
No.
I mean, that would be
It's gonna
stupid.
be well into the millions, though.
Yep.
It did cost millions.
It cost $450 million to buy the artwork, so it's
so
not going to be
he-
$100 million a week.
He
He just rented it from
the painting.
The painting was
Oh.
$450 million. How much was it to rent it per week?
This is including what? Where was it flown to? Was it actually delivered
To Bill Gates' house, yep.
in America?
Yep.
Wow.
Couriered back and forth.
Gosh.
What would you pay? Just to have it for a couple of weeks. Salvatore Mundi on the wall.
Fuck that piece of I ain't paying shit.
Can I have the money,
Yeah.
please? $5 million a week. It's
mean,
like,
that-
a couple of weeks.
I think that's pretty reasonable given the cost of the
What's
asset.
$5 million between billionaires? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Well,
I
what
mean,
is it? So
imagine
that
though-
would be 90 weeks. You'd get the full price of it, right?
Yeah, dude, that guy can make a killing renting out Salvador Mundi.
Born on a Friday. Yeah, weird, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the sort of hyper wealth that I will never be dealing in.
You've not been aiming towards it, to be fair, as far as I can tell.
I mean, I've currently been ruminating over whether to buy a balance bike for my son or rent it a month. Now it feels like I should just stop talking to myself and just do the first thing that turns up.
Now, the balance bike is the one where there's no pedals. They just kind of...
They are mental for it, the kids.
Yeah, they love it. They just get to run on it,
Yeah.
but it's a bike. Why
There's-
didn't you just buy it? They can't be that expensive.
Because they grow out with them. And actually, no, you tell if you
And then you rent it to Gates.
you look online,
There's a visual-
and see how much the
Visual
frog.
aid for the listeners.
Look how much-
Chris seems entirely shocked and outraged that this was even suggested.
He really
He
does.
literally leapt up in his chair.
The whole Cyprus history contentious.
No,
No, he just
fine.
breezed through that.
Yeah.
But buying a balance bike, what
Look
am I
how
looking
much
up?
the frog balance bike is.
Balance bike, frog.
As in, it's made in the shape of a frog? Or is
Indy,
this some
guess
sort
how
of-
much the balance bike is.
This is a child's balance bike, which they will inevitably grow out of.
It looks like it's about this high.
It is about that high. Rob had his hand 1 foot from the ground.
Guess how much? I don't know why we're
It's-
just
it's
guessing
a-
how much.
It's just a random thing in the shape of a frog.
No.
No. It's one of those bikes that doesn't have pedals, so they just run.
It's just a brand.
and let
the
go.
brand. The company is Frog.
Oh gosh, if it's branded, who knows? I've never heard of the brand, but I'm going to assume it's something.
Neither had I.
It can't be more than 100 quid.
210. 210. That is scandalous.
And what's
mate.
weird is that there's like a Halford's own one,
Ooh.
which is 18 quid. Yeah, you say, but it's a balance bike. It's not like.
Can't you buy the Halfords one, get a frog sticker off eBay, slap it on, job's a good one.
I'm at the one.
Are we still talking about Handyman Chris? Why are you not building him one? It's
Building a bone shaker. It's basically a bone shaker, which was the first bike, I believe.
What? The first bike?
The bone shaker. Yeah, it was the first.
Well, first ever bike.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the asterisk might...
Right, hence...
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it's all wood and it was a push bike, there was no pedals.
Right.
The asterisk I put on first, it might be first that was available, but, for popular purchase or whatever, because I'm sure some guy came up with it first and he just called it his two wheels.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The Bone Shaker was the first bike, and yeah, it's basically that. But yeah.
But with the rubberized tyre so that you don't shake your bones quite as much. Now... Why did they ever come up with the penny farthing? Was that just like a show-off thing, do you reckon?
Well, it's gears.
Yeah, but it's shit, right?
Yeah.
I still don't understand how you get on and off one.
You sort of have to...
No, you have to climb up.
And then you have to kind of like go straight away.
Yeah, you have to climb up a thing and get on it.
So you can only get off if you get to another penny farthing bike.
That's a good point.
But don't forget, that was actually not unusual. For example, if you go to an old pub, you will often see at the back of the old pub, you'll see some stone steps going seemingly to nowhere. And what that was you would go up the stone steps to get on the back of your horse.
Right.
So there was a precedent for having things that allow you to get onto things.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why they came up with the penny farthing, and because of gears.
Yeah.
So are you saying gears arrived first on the penny farthing?
Well, no, because it didn't have gears, but it's the same principle as in a single revolution of your pedal, because it's an absolutely mahoosive wheel.
Yeah.
Takes you a long way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But did they have to make it quite so big?
I know. And also, did they have to go quite so fast? Really? You needed to go so fast? You needed this massive wheel?
Well, it's interesting because the exact that size could be varied completely. So the exact size they finished on was where they thought the perfect balance was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
which the front one is like the size of an apple, and the back one is like a monster truck.
But again, you see, there might be other things involved. Of course. But there might be other things involved, which is, well, actually, in a world where people were like on horses and on carts, maybe it was advantageous to be up high. Because then you can be seen on the road and people can see you.
Right, you can't be the low rider.
Yeah, because you know when you're in the car and there's one of them smug cunts that comes along on those little tiny lean back bikes.
Yeah.
There's like 2 foot off the ground.
Those people.
And you're like, I cannot see you, you're going to die here. He's got a little flag on the back so you can see him.
Yeah. With the penny farthing that I've just realised?
What?
You can hijack someone's horse. You're at the same level, just kick them off.
In midstream, cycling along, and then jump over.
Yeah.
Sure, you lose the penny farthing, but you gain a horse.
Yeah, valuable horses, obviously.
Is the horse...
Pass a shitty horse without touching that.
It has to be a thoroughbred. The problem, of course, is the horse might not like you, and then you're dealing with trying to tame a horse.
That's true.
Which is pretty hard.
Yeah.
If they want you off of them...
They're pretty big, aren't they, horses?
They're fucking huge.
It's a really weird thing when you see a real life horse.
Yeah.
And you're like, you used to be the friend of my people. And
if
I was born in the past, I'd have been extremely au fair with you.
They are so important to humans,
dude, yeah.
And they sleep standing up with their eyes open, and only for 3 hours a day.
With their eyes open?
Yes!
Are they alert?
Semi-alert.
No.
They never they don't go into deep sleep ever.
What horrible.
Do they do something like sleep half of their brain? Or?
No, that's dolphins.
Dolphins. I wanted to...
You wanted to make sense of the craziness of the horse. 3 hours, that's it. Other than that, they're awake.
What a horrible life of indenture they've led. They've been enslaved by the human race. You know, everything is that they have to get broken in.
Yeah, it's a rough verb, isn't it?
Have you read Black Beauty? Heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then they don't even get to sleep.
You rest now, you rest.
Yeah.
You're standing there at elbow height to the horse, looking up and going, so I tell you where to go, right? Let's get this.
And in effect, he's like, because you've completely destroyed his free will. But why is it that you can completely dominate that animal's consciousness?
Not very intelligent.
Because it's not that intelligent.
Well, versus other animals that are I mean, so by that example,
you couldn't do that with an emu.
Well, this is going to piss you right off, Rob.
Great.
Because I'm therefore going to say, does that actually mean quantifiably that the cat is more intelligent than the dog?
No. Well, how are we defining intelligence?
Well, by the ability to tame it.
I mean, the crow is intelligent and would pass in tests of being able to solve puzzles and dick to other animals.
Yeah, and I don't know of many people that have tamed the crow.
I'm not sure you can tame a crow, can
Exactly.
you? You can parrots, though. You can, and they're incredibly intelligent.
Are they?
You can.
They don't talk.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't talk. They just repeat.
Indy, get the videos up!
No, they don't talk. They just repeat phrases.
No, they don't only... I know the verb to parrot. They don't only parrot things.
No.
Yep.
Well, you
Look
mean
up Alex the Grey Parrot.
You mean Alex
He
the Grey?
solved maths problems.
Yeah, they're meant to have the intelligence of a small child, about 3 or 4.
Okay, well, I mean...
You don't believe me, I can see, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because, obviously we all know that birds are really, really smart, but obviously we all know that crows are super fucking smart.
Yeah.
But for the same example, owls be fucking dumb, bruv.
Yes.
This
is what I meant about intelligence. It's like, owls are dumb, but you know what they're really good at doing?
Catching
hunting.
mice. Yeah.
And that requires quite a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
That's a type of intelligence. And you have to be you have to make your move, you have to swoop, you have to be very precise.
Yeah.
You have to be silent before that. So the type of intelligence a cat has is not the same as a dog, because a dog's not a hunter in that way.
Can I also point out that when you train a dog, ideally, it does what it does, it problem solves, it does its tasks because it wants to please you and bond with you.
Yeah.
The dog.
Whereas I'm not sure the same can be said as much of a horse. Out of a horse, it might be doing it because you've trained it and it knows it just has to do that.
So you mean the dog has an idea that it's in the gang?
Yeah, the dog is making a choice to do that more.
I suppose it does have a pack mentality, and thus it's probably just like, this is what the pack is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, less so with the horse, much less so with the cat.
Yes.
And people do train cats, but
only with catnip.
He's on the nip again.
They can only train cats by essentially turning them into addicts.
It's quite good. It's quite good that catnip just works on cats.
Addicts, because an addict is a Charlton fan.
Right, the addicts, yeah. Chris.
I mean,
I'm just going. Look, I'm on the radio. I've got to make sure that my diction is on point. So I noticed in my last recording, a bit lazy in places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sloppy.
I would say I am on dog's side, but also if you see a dog being trained, at many times they're just addicts for their little treats as well.
Dogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You basically have to have treats to train them.
What surprised me is how little those treats can be, and they will still do whatever you want to get this tiny grain.
Yeah, and they go.
Yeah.
Just completely demolish it. Don't enjoy it.
A full bowl of meat in the evening.
And yet the horse, when you train the horse, it's way less driven by food. You don't have to.
There's a little bit of sugar.
A little bit, but not as much. It's not like everything is rewarded and reinforced. I guess the amount of things. No. I was about to say the amount of things they can do is less, but if you've seen the dressage, thank you very much.
I have to hold my hand up here. I don't know exactly what you have to do to train a horse, so I don't know how much.
Dude, you have to do lots
physical...
of. You have to send them the corral. You have to send them round and round and round.
Yeah.
You have to
making them do what you want.
There's the bit as well. They have to.
You have to look at them and all sorts. And everything else. And
it's a bit more corporal punishment involved.
Yeah.
And the dog is more positive reinforcement, isn't it? The horse is a bit more.
Again, not historically. Historically, you'd be a dick to a dog.
Yeah, and it would do.
It would quiver when you walked in the room.
Yeah, and you'd be like, "Good."
Yeah,
and I'm going to fetch my slippers, and it would.
Yeah, and it would go get your slippers. Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah.
The good old days.
Yeah.
I've never been a man that's lived with any large pet, so they're all quite alien to me. The largest we ever did was a rabbit. And
Did you form a bond with the rabbit?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I feel actually really sorry for the rabbit because it died alone. Really. Well, it did though, didn't it?
Why didn't anyone else love it though?
Because
what happened?
Because my mum fed it and kept it alive, but obviously we as a fleet of boys went from liking the rabbit to being like,
Just get a companion rabbit.
It's just a solo
like a house rabbit.
Well, no.
Yeah, but a rabbit for the rabbit, so they could have a buddy.
Yeah, well, no, and indeed, if I were to get a rabbit, I might get a companion rabbit.
Yeah.
But although my partner has a terrible story, which is that but her brother, they had a rabbit in that London, and one time he went out to feed the rabbit, and a fox had got at it and decapitated it.
Yeah.
And he sort of came in and sort of said...
For the record, there are foxes outside of London as well.
Challenge.
Well, they like London more.
I come from the country, and I never saw a fox in my life until I moved to London.
Yes. Okay. Rebuttal of challenge.
Rebuttal of challenge.
Anecdotal evidence. I never saw. Is that the best you've got? I need facts and figures, mate.
What?
The foxes are out there. You just don't see them.
Okay, so in 21 years of living outside of London,
21 years.
I never saw a fox. On my first night in London,
They're everywhere.
I saw a fox.
That's right.
To the point where the people I was staying with, I sort of said, there was a baby crying last night, and nobody went to its aid. What was that about? And they were like, that's the foxes.
To be fair, if you heard a fox and you thought it sounded like a baby crying, that is the most pleasant voiced fox you must have ever heard.
Oh my god, their noise they make is so horrific, isn't it?
It's not a baby.
And also, I'm sure that we're witnessing in real time the degradation of the species. So, like, you know how
evolution.
Yeah, I would certainly say it's going the other way.
Okay,
well, no,
2v1, Chris.
Okay, so let me unpack.
They are bolder. They're more involved.
They've adapted to an environment that they weren't designed for.
Right.
Very well.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about degradation in a much more aesthetic way. As in, consider the pigeon. Consider the pigeon. Your normal wood pigeon, you know, the from which all pigeons have come, is a beautiful, large, elegant bird. You know, and it's intact. Your urban pigeon is well gross bruv. None of them have any feet. They've got gnarled toe. They've lost them.
Now, is this race? When you say urban pigeon, are you actually trying to say something else?
If so, then feel free to remove this part from your podcast.
This is going to be the podcast that in 20 years is removed before it's syndicated.
And I think the
that
same.
episode never happened.
I think the same with the fox. When one first came to that London, they looked like foxes.
Yeah.
Now they look well shit, bruv.
Yeah. Well, look at what they're eating.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not good for them, is
They
it?
they don't look as bad as I thought they would look. And there's a lot of them in Temple Lane, believe me.
How bad did you think? Well, from eating only junk.
As in, they're not as bright orange, and maybe they're not as chubby, but they're still pretty nice looking animals.
Mate, some of those tails are gross.
Yeah, when it doesn't have the white tip properly, it's all like stained, smudged.
Matted and...
Yeah. That's not... It's not...
A lot of that is... Is down to the pollution.
So
frankly.
Well, and therefore,
it's like you've taken them and scrubbed the inside of a tube tunnel.
Right, and so therefore, as a way of absolving myself from the race accusation sent my way,
the purity of the hood pigeon, whereas the urban
is that if the fox and the pigeon can degenerate in such a way in the urban environment, is that not the same for perhaps all of us?
Oh, it's Aesop over there. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Aesop was a slave.
I don't actually know much about Aesop at all.
Wrote a bunch of tales.
Yeah. Yes.
Or fables, if you will.
I was going to say, I believe
the
that.
one thing
We're talking about foxes.
You just ruined his legacy.
Oh, God.
I'll write some stories. Short stories.
Well, I'm very au fait with Aesop's tales.
Oh, fuck, I fucked up.
Not allowed to do the MSc.
Yeah.
MSc MA.
I'll just cut it out. Yeah. Interspersed with something more intelligent. Yeah, slave. So
I thought Aesop was like Dutch, but actually now you mention it, I suppose that's suppose Hans Christian Andersen-y territory.
Yeah.
So where's Aesop from then? Is
Greek, ancient Greece.
Ancient Greek. I had actually no idea it was ancient Greek, but of course now you say the name Aesop. Like, well, what sort of an idiot was I? Yeah. So they're really old. That's cool.
Really old. Yeah, they're pretty good as well. If you use them in teaching, they're really good.
How were they collected? How were they? Was he
oral
free?
Tradition? I don't know. I know it was.
Well,
I don't know if he was free.
Probably somebody wrote them down later.
Yeah.
As Aesop's fables.
Yeah. It's the same with like Homer and Virgil.
Yeah, exactly.
That was all oral tradition as well. Yeah. Before it got written down.
Eventually, a pupil of theirs wrote it down.
Yeah. Most myths and folklore and stuff like that.
True, but Aesop wouldn't be expected to have pupils or followers if he was a slave.
No, but he was popular in his time, and so.
He was a popular slave on the planet. I doubt we know who the fuck his owners are.
But slavery was very different. Like it wasn't quite so. It was much more fluid. Like anyone could become a slave, by through.
Yeah, it wasn't like indentured thing in the same way.
It wasn't like
ancient Greece was different.
It wasn't like that is a certain caste of person. They are a slave. It was like, well, they become a slave because they were captured in this war, this battle. We captured them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was still like
of course.
It wasn't cool.
No,
but it was much more fluid.
It wasn't who they were. It was what they were.
Yeah, and a slave could be a member of your household that was respected. It would just be.
You'd hope so, because otherwise he'd have got the shit beaten out of him for sassing his master. Well, I'm master. Let me tell you a little story. I would not have gone down well.
Is it about cheese, Aesop? Because I notice a lot of them are.
Yeah.
This one's called The Cunning Fox and the Big Dumb Cunt. Bit close to home, Aesop.
Thank you, Aesop. You may leave the dinner table.
Yeah. It's like I found out recently that in medieval Norway, they had a bunch of Scottish slaves.
Right.
Because of their raids on the coast here.
Shipped them back.
And they just ship back a load of Scots and be like, this is our slave. And you'd be like, all right.
Yeah. So we can't understand a word he's saying.
It's like, well, that's the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
Have you watched Norseman? I hope I've got that right. Very, very, very good comedy series.
I haven't.
Oh, it's really good. It's Norwegian. It's a Norwegian comedy series, and they've filmed it both in English and in Norwegian.
Ooh.
So there's two different versions of it.
That's
and
cool.
It's really.
That's
Were
good.
there any other shows?
I don't know.
They've done
Shot all the
remakes.
scenes.
Reshot everything. They did an English version and a
Same
Norwegian.
actors?
Same actors, yeah, because they're.
I don't know if I've heard of that before.
It's really, really good. I recommend all listeners to watch it. It was on Netflix. It might still be. I think it might even be in its third season, but it's very, very good. And yeah, there's a lot of jokes there about slaves and about sort of them being sort of captured and again much like I was captured and they're good people, the Vikings. Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, it is on Netflix. Yeah. Ooh.
There we are. That's my recommendation.
It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It does not. That's incredible.
Which I always get a bit suspicious when it's on.
It is very good. I suppose my slight challenge to that was I sort of felt that Series 2 lost its way a bit. But hey, 100%.
2016 is when it's aired.
That's a decent chunk of time. There are a lot of things that come out with 100%
and then
drop to a more realistic value.
Yeah, but I don't think anything should have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. No. That's stupid.
Be like,
Because art can't be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. Thank you. I'll be off.
Yeah, well, there we are. And that is the end of Publicity
that does
Abyss.
beg the question, what is the highest score, and does that...
What's the highest score? Like
Allowable.
critic? I mean,
What's
it's
the highest score allowed?
Well, there's the famous...
Is that
there's-
99?
99%.
And then, in that case, all the ones on 99 would...
And similarly, you can't have 0.
Yeah.
But they would...
Can't be
all the ones on
worthless.
99 would consider themselves to have attained perfection.
They would, but
99
they'd be
was the
wrong.
maximum. You've just rescaled yourself.
So this what we're talking about here is my sort of my mission for the world is to somehow reclaim 3 stars, the rating of 3 stars, which is if something's rated 3 stars, it means it's good.
60%.
It means it's good. It means
Wait,
it's good.
hang on, out of how many stars?
5.
Right,
Out of 5.
Yeah, but why good? Why not just average?
Well,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, yeah,
Serviceable but not good. Good implies...
but that's what I think. No, I think this is what I'm saying. If something's 3 stars, it should be
Yeah.
That was
It's alright.
perfectly acceptable. That's what
Wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if someone was like, I'm watching it,
I was entertained.
That's alright.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
would say a lot of the comedy series I like and Rob hates.
Are 3 stars
I
shit
would rate 3
shows.
stars.
I think
I'm not trying to pretend they're amazing.
Right.
I recommend them in particular.
Yeah,
to
we're
anyone.
talking about
We're
we're sort of about the greater sort of oeuvre
We're
of
talking about How I Met Your
Mother,
Big Bang
Theory.
Theory.
Big Bang.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know if I can give Big Bang Theory 3 stars.
I can't.
Because have you seen that clip of Big Bang Theory with no canned laughter? It's completely damning.
But that's the same with Friends. And Friends is a good show.
No, I think
If
Friends.
you make
I think
something to
yeah.
rely
Okay,
Oh, Friends, are we allowed halves? Because I'll give it 3.5.
Friends is
Give
good.
it 4.
I think the sad thing
Really,
about
4?
Yeah.
There's so many shit episodes, but when it's good,
Friends.
yeah.
Well, the Friends suffers.
I
I
mean, I'm
think.
discounting I haven't even watched the last season.
Oh, so Friends. Yeah, no, don't bother. I mean,
Well,
I
no,
haven't
it's
seen it either, but
really
who cares?
off the boil by the
Yeah.
end. Yeah,
Because
it's all about
it's-
plot, and you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it happens. I've noticed this trend in general of all American series. All American series, he said, just casting his net wide.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Most mainstream American comedy series. There we are. Is they have a bit of a, they can't leave things on a bad note or on an unresolved note. So like they all have to go on for like 18 series, and the 18th series everyone is married and has got children. They seem to be unable to just be like, and it's over now, and it doesn't matter that they were all single.
There's a reason for that, because they like their there's the reason their audience watches those shows is to feel good, and they know that. In fact, for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, this very last season, they started tackling. It's definitely much better than 2 stars. I would recommend that. That's God. But this very last season, they started diving into these hard issues in America.
Oh, really? Race, policing, defund, all of that stuff.
All you see is like, I don't like it. I watched this show to feel good, and now it's all unresolved, and I don't enjoy it anymore. Those shows are to make people feel okay.
I agree with you.
At the end of a long day of work.
That's true. I agree with you. Although it does even bleed over into... Did you ever watch Sopranos?
No, to my complete and utter shame.
It's great.
Yeah,
but the ending is very controversial. And without giving anything away, it leaves stuff in the air.
Right, yeah.
It very much doesn't tell you exactly.
Which actually, by that example, would be probably why it's people like it.
People fucking love it. Yeah.
Because it doesn't...
Yeah.
That's
tie
right.
everything off nicely.
It dares to buck the trend, whereas everything else they have to sort of tie around in a neat post.
There are two ways. There are two things that we're kind of talking about here. There's not resolving arcs that have already happened, and there's leaving things open for the future and not making it feel like your characters are finished.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are two separate.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think also part of the reason here is obviously, if you finish your season of your show and you're like, and there it is, then the network execs are like, oh, well, the show's done.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of want to be like, no, there's still more.
Well, then that
cycle just kind of repeats, and before you know it, we've done 8 years. Great.
That's why I think the best form of TV are these like
self-contained ones.
Self-contained, like long seasons. They know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they're always just trying to string things out a little bit.
But look, I'm a big advocate of the sort of the British model, which is 6 episodes in a series, 2 or 3 series. There you are.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I just watched Black Books the other day, which is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
3 seasons and that's it.
There you are. That's
sometimes
it.
Sometimes just the not one shot, but one season.
Yeah.
Things.
Now it must be said.
Call them a season. That the Capture we watched recently.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So you wouldn't call
I love
it a season
those.
because
No,
it's
a limited
series.
Yeah, just one limited series.
Over, how many? 8
I think it was.
something like that?
I think it was 8 actually. They're usually more like 6. Those ones. Yeah, I love watching those.
Fantastically done.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation.
Yeah. There's one on at the minute called Vigil, which is about like a nuclear sub and shit going down. You know.
Someone said that was good.
Yeah, it's good.
My currently one I'm watching right now, I just recommended it to Rob, which is Only Murders in the Building, which is great, written by Steve Martin. He's in it, Martin Short's in it, as well as Selena Gomez. Wow. It's really good. And then I read that it's been commissioned for a second season.
Of course, because it was good.
And even watching the first season, not series, because it is in the US.
That's right.
Even watching the first season, I'm like, but why? How could there be a second season? Because
there's money to be made.
Well, and it's sort of disappointed me, really. Yeah. A fine example of when it goes completely awful is, of course, American Gods. Did any of you guys watch this?
I watched a couple of episodes of the first season and kind of didn't follow it up.
So, for a start, it's one book, right? Mm-hmm. It is one book.
Uh-oh.
So when American Gods came out, I was like, brilliant, they've made American Gods. And then they're like, there's going to be 5 seasons. I was like, but it's one book! Like, I want to just see the book. And they've got to the 3rd season, and they are completely
They've got nothing left.
And utterly lost.
That's what happened with Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like, we got nothing left. What should we do?
They've introduced so many of their own storylines.
They haven't reached the denouement of the book.
No, exactly. So they've
adding things in.
They've added things
in,
and it's a mess. Like actors,
it's all album tracks.
Actors have left. Some of them,
and they're basing it off a book that is so well. It's the perfect opportunity to
do a limited series and make it so beautiful. Yeah,
just do it. The ones I think are good examples are the Reese Witherspoon examples,
Oh,
which are
Big Little Lies?
Big Little Lies
Yes.
and Little Fires Everywhere.
Haven't seen that one. Is it good?
Yeah, Little Fires Everywhere is really good.
Yeah, I'd watch
and again,
that.
they're based on books. Actually, I don't know if Big Little Lies is, but either way, they did two.
I think
They
it
did
is,
two
it
seasons.
is.
They're like, we're done now.
They finished
And again,
the story.
Little Fires Everywhere is like, yeah, well, we've done the book. It's one. It's one thing.
Yeah.
Really, really good because they're like, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. There's
There
the
was
story.
what's her face won the was it the Oscars they just had? I think,
I
or was it the
don't
Golden
know.
Globe? I think it was the
They had
Oscars.
The Emmys just like a couple of
Oh, so you're right. It's the Emmys I'm thinking of because it was for
Yeah,
TV.
TV, yeah.
Nicole Kidman was it? No.
Yeah. She's
No, but I'm not thinking of her. It's she
Nicole
was in
Kidman
one.
did one with
Kate Winslet is who I'm thinking of. Mayor of Easttown.
Okay.
Amazing.
I haven't seen it.
Limited series.
Right.
Right.
And it's like
Yeah.
6 or maybe 8
Yeah.
episodes. Crime thriller.
Yeah.
She's fucking on it. No
Yeah.
makeup as well.
Right.
So she just looks like a real person.
Yeah.
And she's fucking got her acting chops out, and it's
Yeah.
like
Great.
unbelievable.
Well, it's
man.
interesting you mentioned Nicole Kidman as well because she's got another one as well as Big Little, which is The Undoing, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Which was
that a limited series as well?
Oh gosh, what's my name? It's
I'm Hugh Grant.
That's it. That's it. Thank you.
Again,
series as well.
one series. The caveat I'll put on that is that like the twist isn't great because the twist is what you thought was happening in the first episode. But hey, it's very good.
Interesting.
And again, closed series. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my time.
But there are always exceptions, aren't there? Like Inside Number 9.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
them to watch it. I want them to make it for forever.
Yes.
Or Peep
yes.
Show.
My
I think we got 9 seasons.
Let's go
of
back to
that.
Inside Number 9 though.
I love Inside Number 9 so much.
For the record, I love Inside Number 9. But my challenge is, it feels like that they have 3 good stories that they've really written and they care
Oh,
about.
yeah.
And then they've got 3 that are like, oh shit, we need to make up the 6. in my humble opinion, which would absolutely love to have anywhere near the career of Reece Shearsmith or his name.
I know, it's because Reese Witherspoon has the same name,
No,
so that's the problem.
I'm so sorry. Pemberton. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Steve Pemberton.
Steve Pemberton. I'm so sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
Why would you have your careers? But I do feel every series you've got 3 cracking stories that you've got excited about and 3 that you've phoned in. I'm saying it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Coming at it hard. Now, in a strange and abrupt pivot, I want to hear, how is the world running out of sand?
Ah.
Oh yes, we briefly touched on this earlier.
Now, was it worth hitting pause on that conversation and saving it for now?
Absolutely.
How do you know?
Because I'm going to make it.
Oh, okay.
Confident.
Some of your best sand material's going to come out.
I feel it's worth raising the point because it's such a weird concept.
It is a
We're
very
running
weird
out of sand.
concept.
Now, Chris, you mentioned that you knew a little bit more about it in terms of we're talking a specific type of sand here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, so basically,
what sand are we running out of?
So sand that you use in construction. So
Sharp sand.
well, I believe.
Do you
Yeah, I
want to
believe.
make
I believe.
glass or-
Oh, yeah, exactly. So sand we used to make glass, we used to make roads, we used to make concrete. Basically, sand is used in every single thing that we do, and it's running out. I'm just trying to.
Because the Sahara is notably marching onwards and having to.
Yeah,
stop.
absolutely.
And yet-
Desertification.
But also, here's the thing: those desert sands are no good for construction because they're fine. They're too fine. They don't. You can't actually.
They are incredibly fine, aren't they?
Yeah, and
Yeah, it
they're
all
not.
just falls through your
you
hands.
can't use it to like anneal the different components of, for example, concrete in the same way.
Okay.
The world uses 40 to 50 billion tons of sand a year.
Christ. For construction.
Yeah, well, in general, but obviously primarily construction. Yeah.
Some of it's in beaches.
Yeah.
For which we've got plenty of sand.
And that essentially is just like a black hole because it just.
Well, because you're actually using the resource and then it's in the thing that you built.
We've all just assumed that sand is plentiful and in constant.
And to make sand.
But you've raised the point that we are using a particular stage of sand.
Yeah.
At a particular stage between giant rock and fine sand. So
Yeah.
we're only really looking
exactly,
at a stage in its evolution.
And we can't start digging it up off the beaches because that has terrible knock-on effects.
Well, it's not. And also, it's not right. It's not. It's not
That's
the,
also the
it's
wrong
not the
kind
sand
of
you want.
sand.
Yeah, it's not the sand.
We
Yeah.
basically need to wait until like the pebble beaches of Hastings turn into
Yeah.
smaller.
Like, get it at the right moment.
Attack! Wait, so where do you find these sands naturally occurring?
So, like, well, this is the thing. Like, so like mines, sand mines, where just like the land is sort of coarse and everything else. They're having to now dredge it out to rivers, and that now involves cleaning and everything else to make it good. Yeah, no, there's
wow, I didn't think you could mine sand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's huge sand mines.
So it's like a layer of the, what do they call it? Toposphere?
Oh,
it's like
shit, bro.
a layer of like the ground that you go down to, and you're like.
To knowing the names for any of those.
Sounded all right though, didn't it? Toposphere.
The ionosphere? No, it's definitely not that.
If toposphere is correct, very, very good.
Thank you. I shall not check. I'm just going to assume it was.
Yeah, the world is running out of sand.
Fucking hell.
It's the most consumed resource after water.
Okay.
Sand?
Sand.
Not by me. I'll let you know. I'm contributing to the water.
Yeah, I'm part of the water problem, but the sand problem, I am outside.
Yeah,
well,
not my problem, mate.
Are you though? Because, well, maybe you don't do a lot of DIY, but I've definitely contributed to the sand problem in this last year.
I have as well.
I have gone out and bought, ready mixed cement from a shop.
Though, isn't it?
It's marvellous. You add water and you can fill a hole.
Yeah.
So you're using sand and water. Chris, you're a problem.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
established that.
Nothing else that can be said.
But we're running out of everything, aren't we? Everything's a finite resource.
Yeah.
Apart from people, and then we don't seem to be running out of those.
Even at the end of a pandemic.
We keep making those. In fact, during the pandemic, I'm sure probably there were a lot of babies conceived. That must.
Do you
be a
not
fact.
think there must have been like a bump, but then a lull? Because
Well,
first it's like, we're all locked in, and after a while it's like, God, we're all locked in.
The problem with the lull, Rob, is that once you've made the baby, it's there.
Right.
It's yeah.
But the thing is, like the Western nations, where that you'd expect that to have an effect, where we all just had to stay home.
Babies or sand?
The Western nations. Well, that's where we had all our hospitals full up of COVID as well.
Yes.
Which means that any babies that people unwisely made were having some pretty hard deliveries because they're
there were some terrible deliveries. We had a friend who couldn't. The father couldn't be in the room.
Yeah, that happened a lot
because of COVID.
Fucked up.
But there was space for them.
Compared to I got in just before COVID. I was in the pool, bruv.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of the man being there for birth, there is this. I don't know where this came from because it was just an image on the internet and a little bit of like a history memes kind of thing. So it might not be totally true, but this product definitely exists, which is a chair, kind of like this, like a wooden chair. And right here, is like 2 indentations, so near the edge, like little caves.
The records show Rob is gesturing between his legs right now, and we're both
right.
staring there.
That's right. And so the man, during the woman giving birth, the man sits in this chair next to his wife. His balls go in these holes. There are gaps underneath, little holes driven through them, string attached to it.
Huh.
And so when the woman feels like an intense... She yanks on the string, so the guy feels it too.
Wow, a great product idea. Although I would argue detracts from good daddy doularing.
Yeah. You can't be as useful in the room.
Gentlemen, I must miturate. Talk amongst yourselves.
Speaking of which, he's obviously had his balls yanked on. Would you go for it?
Hell no.
No way, right?
No. I'm prepared to show that my support of a dual parent household. And
yep.
That we're not in the 1950s anymore.
Yep.
In pretty much every other single way. More importantly, more useful ways.
Yeah.
Because in addition to that, in the immediate aftermath,
who wins?
How long does it take for the man to recover?
I mean, have you ever been kicked in the balls?
Yeah.
It takes ages to recover.
And that's just a one-time instantaneous impact.
Constant yanking, and you've got to think like squeezing and twisting and shit like that.
I feel like the woman may regret that choice of forcing it. Like
not in the moment, but after.
Well, 2 days later, when you're both lying in bed in pain.
Yeah. Oh, you get the baby. I can't. You do it. I can't.
Remember that thing with the string and the balls? Yeah. I'm staying here as well. Thanks.
I could have been helpful, but no. You had to yank on my balls for an hour. And what if labour goes on for sort of... some women have like 20-hour labour or whatever, 3 days. Nuts can't survive that long being...
The guy just cuts the string at some point.
And just pretends.
Is it? Yeah.
Cuts the string, ties it to the leg, she gives it a yank, and he's like, oh!
Well, I mean, that's...
I see the conversation's moved on to how a man could get out of his ball pain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
Where else was it going to go?
How can we get out of this responsibility? Yeah.
I mean, you say responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very much my point, is that it is not a responsibility. What was the idea behind it, presumably, is to make it more of a bonding experience.
Right. It's like, I feel pain giving birth to our child.
Yeah.
You feel pain giving birth to our child.
My point is that it's not in a spiteful way. It's like, this will help you bond with me and the child.
I think you could sell it that way, but the reality is, in the moment, there might be some spite on that pulling.
And the reality is, it's never really gonna be.
It's really a situation is set up to translate spite into physical action.
But they've made it, so it existed.
It exists. I'll get a photo up of it. Yeah, it's really weird.
Who was the first guy to take this?
Yeah. Well, do you think it was a guy who designed it?
No, who was the first guy to agree to it?
To me, it could have been a guy, because it strikes me as like a really early sort of idea of, empathy and benevolence, which obviously nowadays, which would be like, I'm actually going to be an active part of the birth and I'm going to help, whereas back in some early time it would have been, well, if I feel the same pain, then I'm helping. Yeah.
I think it was a guy as well, but I think it's a different kind of guy. It's like
oh, I see.
Yeah.
A kinky guy.
Yeah, masochistic. He's like,
how come you get to have all the pain of having a baby?
Shit.
Here it is.
Oh, golly. Golly, yeah.
And when was this? When did this come about?
Like I said,
it's really nicely crafted, listeners. It's beautiful.
Artisanal wood.
Really nice what they've done to it. Yeah.
And wow, ergonomic. How do they even? The holes are quite small. Right?
Yeah, well,
not everyone's got donkey nuts like you do.
No, but it's from the shape of it. The balls are not meant to hang through it.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Oh no, I think.
Yeah, it's probably actually unsafe for the ball to distend.
Sure. Yeah, right.
It probably has to be, cupped and funneled.
Okay.
Cupped and funneled.
Oh, good lord, good lord. Are you sure it's a real product, not a kind of?
Not at all sure.
Okay.
But there it is.
A conceptual piece of art, shall we say?
Yeah, it could be.
To, elicit a conversation exactly about how much the man goes through.
It says here,
make a child.
It's a birth chair for men, so while the woman is in labour, the male had string tied around his balls, and when the woman was in pain, she would clench and pull. So he shed pain while their child was being born. It's an old tradition.
It's an old tradition.
That very much sounds like not a work of art and a real...
I have no idea if it's real or not, but the pictures are there.
It sounds to me like an old tradition amongst a benevolent Scandi people.
Does feel a bit Scandi.
Feels very Scandi.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's not going to be, any kind of...
That's not a Victorian invention.
No fucking way were the Victorians doing that.
They're not into that thing.
No, the old tradition there was the man sits at home and smokes a cigar.
Wetting the baby's head around the corner in the pub, which actually probably is post or pre-Victorian, but either way, yeah. Yeah, the man would be around the corner in the pub.
Yeah.
Toasting.
Yeah.
To help.
To not having to give birth to a baby or have string tied around my nuts.
And everyone cheers. Absolutely.
The bliss of the abyss.
My son Aiken, because obviously he's basically, his consciousness grows all the time, so he probably can't really remember it being dark. Right. And now all the time he's like, dark. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, bruv, it's dark now. And he's like, dark. Oh,
and I'm like, got a treat in store for him. It's
about to get dark at 5, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you're jumping.
You're about to come home in the dark, mate.
What's the time now? What's the time?
7:30.
7:30. So we're getting dark maybe around 7.
Yeah, kind of.
This is practically the glory days of English work.
Yeah, this is it's a
and the weather's been lovely as well.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Indian summer, as they say.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting married this weekend, so I'm hoping that it's good weather. Not a wedding. It's not a wedding.
No,
it's just a marriage.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But still, a big occasion.
Yeah, exactly. What it is we're basically getting pissed up and going out for meals every night for a weekend, and in the middle of it, we're getting married. Right. But by that example, it would be really nice if it was sunny.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
So you are treating it as like a celebration. You're not saving all the emotion, all the positive emotion for the actual wedding. You are treating this one as well.
No, this is.
But wouldn't it be weird to like save all of the positive?
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean,
no, we'll just do it completely cold.
You know, we're doing. You know, obviously,
I'm kind of that person.
we're
Like, if there's gonna be good thing later, and the wedding is gonna be even more joyous and whatever.
Yeah,
which it will be.
But
I
also,
would like to max it.
so we are.
I want deadpan.
We are doing that entirely. But what it is, so what we said, we're dressing up as like Chris and Pascal are having a weekend without our son. Right. We're having some good fun.
Yeah.
Chris and Pascal.
Yeah.
And in the middle, we're getting married.
We'll get married. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will be fun. But also, there's an element of, because it's the legal occasion.
Yeah.
Like, I went to a wedding recently where they didn't really do any of the like personalised touches.
No, we do none of that. No, nothing.
No, but theirs was a wedding, not just a marriage.
Right.
Right? So you had this like joyous occasion, loads of family and things planned, but the ceremony itself was just the bare bones formal shit of like, so this is legally binding contract between you, witnessed by the borough of so and so, and it's like, ugh. Yes,
Yeah.
this is rather clinical and serious.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing the marriage, that makes total sense.
There's always we're having a little bit of fun with it, but only for ourselves. Like
That's what me and
we've
Caitlin
got
did.
a little bit of music being played,
Yeah.
but again, if it's for, I mean, there's only gonna be the witnesses there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just
Yeah.
because when we sort of had the form, it was like, well, let's just put some music on.
Yeah.
You know, on the
Where is it you're getting married?
Islington Town Hall.
Which is nice, yeah.
The standard sort of, North London registry location.
And have you got like a hotel or something?
Yeah,
for
we're
the-
in a hotel in Covent Garden.
Oh, nice, in town, that's nice.
We're going to have a deep tissue massage before our wedding in a spa.
Get nice and
go,
loose.
Go swimming, and then jump in an Uber,
Bruised.
jump in a cab, go get married, and then get pissed up on Upper Street.
Great. Don't get a colonic massage.
No.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Although, it might be good actually, because, I said I have become quite distended post-curry.
Only have a colonic massage if you need it. A kind of prep colonic massage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a colonic massage before the big day.
Well,
Yeah.
You don't want it on the day of. You don't want to shit your pants when you're getting married.
No, it's in the wedding day,
I mean,
when it's all
you don't want to shit your pants when you're having a colonic massage either.
Or really any time ever.
No, yeah.
No, yeah, don't shit your pants anymore.
Yeah.
When was the last time I shit my pants?
I know when mine was.
I was on holiday in Bulgaria.
Say no more.
And I was a teenager.
Did we get a proximal cause, or was it just a general?
Well, I had a
touchdown.
I had a
Welcome
very,
to Bulgaria. Oh!
I had a very nice steak and mushroom something dinner the night before. Anyway,
Creamy mushroom.
I don't believe they were. I think
it wasn't a very.
Anyway, next day in the bed.
Oh no!
Yeah, I did shit the bed. I actually physically shit
I've
the bed.
never shut the bed.
Hey, here we go. Because.
But I was
Disgusting.
wearing pants, and I just basically took a fart and
Took it too far.
Yeah.
I did not even too far.
So,
It was,
I found
and
this
it
out
just
on-
all came, and I was like, "Whoa, bruv!" And that was the last time I shit my
found this out
pants.
on Reddit very recently, and I have now a question for the entirety of the rest of the human race.
Great.
Is it in the same way that we've all been ill with stomach aches, and
Yeah.
with stomach troubles, and it's very evidently possible to shit yourself if you've got enough problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I had dysentery, for fuck's
Is
sake.
it possible to piss yourself? Because I thought it wasn't, and I saw this thing.
Sorry, is it
on-
possible to piss? Well, due to too much
I
fluid.
mean, I could literally piss myself
Yeah,
now.
I was going to say. I mean,
Do you want me to show you?
I've had a lot of, bless them, a lot
As
of people
in
have.
accidentally-
I've pissed myself significantly more recently than a teenager in Bulgaria.
Accidentally, unstoppably in bed, because you just woke up and oh god, I pissed myself because I was ill or something like that.
Oh no, I see what you mean. As an involuntary
Yeah. Now, you
sickness.
could also
Yeah,
be,
dude, that's like if you get a water infection, that ting goes down all the time.
I never knew this. I
I've
came
never
across
had
a
that,
Reddit
though.
post where someone, it was today I fucked up, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was like, oh, and I was ill, and so I pissed the bed, and the today I fucked up was that the girlfriend was lying in it. So that's
Right.
a whole other thing. But I posted, wait, are we just skipping past this? And this guy's just like, oh, I was ill, so obviously I pissed the bed. Because I've never...
You're right,
in my
I've
life-
never,
I
out of
was
sickness.
shouted down and downvoted because of my smugness at saying that I don't piss my bed.
Yeah, well, but then again...
Sounds like
again-
a board full of ill people.
Is this a thing that people do?
Dude, but then again, some weird ting goes on the other side of the pond. Because, American comedy, it's obsessed with pink eye. And
yeah, that's true.
he's obsessed with pink
But
eye.
that is funny. That
Yeah,
idea.
but like no one in the UK, which I think is conjunctivitis for us. No one in the UK is getting conjunctivitis all the time, and yet,
Do you remember jammies at school though? Clammies.
yeah,
Because he got it in his eye.
really, yeah, right. So, but according to US comedy, they're getting pink eye, conjunctivitis, all of the time.
I think there's two things going on there. Number one, pink eye is a funny thing to say and hear.
Yeah.
And think about, and like conceptually.
And then number
for someone
two,
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you think
The reality of how it actually happens is pretty funny too.
Yeah.
Either your eye is going into a butthole,
Yeah.
or you're touching someone's butthole and then
touching
your eye.
Yeah.
That's
But-
funny.
So, but what I'm saying is, but there must have been something that's pushed pink eye, even to become a comedic device. It's pushed pink eye so far into the American social consciousness that simply doesn't exist here. Like nobody here gets conjunctivitis past the age of like 6 months.
Wow, your 6-month-old had pink eye. Fucking hell, dude.
I mean, it does feel like something, if I knew about it, we'd have, all the way around the playground of both primary school and secondary school, we'd have relentlessly teased people
about their conjunctivi.
About
Yeah.
pink eye. It
Yeah.
it
We'd
would
have
be
called it
part of our
conjunctivitis.
standard vocabulary when we were in
I think the
people-
first way I heard about it was South Park.
South Park, yeah.
Yeah.
So South Park is the only way that I ever heard of it. Yeah, but then it's in everything now.
Yeah.
Well, no. Do we put it the other way? Has South Park managed to create a comedic meme in themselves? Because let's face it, they are mega. So have they managed to create it? They probably did. They probably could have.
And also, do we have anything our equivalent on this side of the pond? What's our funniest disease that we keep?
What? That's a good thing. So yeah, okay,
That's
a
a
good
great
question.
question.
Okay, is there something that we get that the Yanks would be like, what the hell are you talking about? This is where we need Catalina
Yeah, we do.
to shed some insight.
She'd
What
be
do-
like, oh, it's this.
you guys keep getting this thing, and no one cares.
What
Yeah.
is it? What do
Maybe
we
maybe
get?
because of our glorious socialised medicine, these things don't exist here. That could come into it. Who knows? Because of all the fluoride in our water, we're safe.
I mean, the thing about catching crabs is quite a comedic device, I think.
Yeah, but it's not a trope, is it?
Not as much. Well, actually, isn't
A
it?
bit. I don't feel it's maybe as... You know, they're actual little lice as well. They're real.
Yeah,
little...
I mean, well, not just little lice. The story that was always told to me at school is that they're not just lice; they're quite big,
Yeah, and you can see
physically see them. Yeah.
So creepy.
The story that was always told to me at school to scare you off from getting crabs was someone came into the doctor, and they sort of complained. The doctor said, "You've got crabs." And the person said, "How do you know?" And the doctor said, "Well, because I just saw one crawl across your eyebrow." Because once you've got them, they move through all your downy hair.
Yeah, fucking hell, I can't handle that.
Oh, that's bad.
The only thing that freaks me out more than that is when you get like things that like burrow underneath the skin or something.
Which I've had 0 times.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not saying I've had
Right,
them.
cool.
It's more like the type of horror that freaks me out.
Is it triskaidekaphobia?
That's fear of the number 13.
Okay, then it's not that. What's the fear of irregularly shaped holes?
Oh, trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
Which
It's
I
that
have.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
where
it's
you
that.
See the idea of, like,
That's like a
things
that's
bursting and
that's like a really
blah,
that's like a really acidy. Whenever I think of trypophobia, I'm always thinking like acid. And
Oh, yeah.
things.
Yeah.
very
Yeah. Those kind of like repeating fractals and
Yeah,
patterns.
yeah.
That doesn't ever freak me
Well,
out.
because the base behind it.
Well, not when you're on acid
absolutely-
because it's great.
Yeah.
Fractals don't fuck you.
The base behind it, very, very, very understandable, right? If
Yes.
you actually had something that was causing it, that would be horrible. But the actual fear of just irregular holes.
No, because
I feel like
I-
a little bit I understand.
It's very
Yeah,
Aphex Twin.
because
It's very
the-
Aphex Twin as well.
It is Aphex Twin. Well,
God,
imagine
I
if you saw, like, if you came home and there was, like, a hive. Have you ever had... Do you know what I mean? I've had a wasp nest infected just above the door there.
And when you see it cut open.
Yeah! And it's like, God, what are they doing in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll kill it before it lays eggs.
Oh, wasp's nest. I know nothing of the social strata of the wasp. I know lots about bees. But what is it of the wasp?
Well, it
Terrifying.
because there are definitely.
There are so many types of wasp. That's the
There are
thing.
some very social ones as well, right?
Yeah, there are social
Obviously,
wasps.
those are ones.
There are flightless wasps.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some wasps
if you watch a property program, there's a cunt load of solitary bees, and they are raking it in right now. Every bloody garden in the UK, I think, has got a solitary bee hotel.
Oh yeah, the little wooden
tubes. Yeah, I've never heard of a solitary bee in my life, but they are living it up.
The door-to-door bee sales.
Wasps, yeah, man.
Nobody loves wasps.
Wasps go. I actually quite like.
No, you don't.
Our English.
What? Okay,
Challenge!
2v1. 2v1.
Okay,
What? How?
firstly, are English wasps.
Yeah, versus a continental
They're very
wasp.
different.
Please
You
call
get
it the
some
Great
really
British
bad
wasp.
Yeah, man, those continental wasps with the little hangy-downy legs.
What are the hangy-downy things?
What the hell are they? Where have they come from?
I wish they didn't have them.
Cute little British wasps are almost like not that dissimilar in looks to a honeybee. They're not vicious. They're not bad.
They
They
are
are
vicious.
vicious. They are bad.
Yep. And also, you ceded ground on your point immediately. Okay, I grant you that.
No, only specifically because there are some that are absolutely terrible. There's a wasp that has the pain so bad that people like to commit suicide. That's a wasp.
No.
What? People like to.
Well,
You know what? After that
literally,
wasp thing,
they
wouldn't mind.
rather-
Wouldn't mind.
I believe the verb is prefer to.
When they're in that state, they would like, yes, give me death. I would love
Take me
this.
out of this.
Yeah, the pain's so bad, and also I think it's one of those poisons that comes with an impending feeling of doom.
Is it?
Oh my god! Like we're back to the acid again.
Would you like
Yeah.
some doom with your poison, sir? Just the pain. Well,
Just yeah. Exactly.
too late. Already checked the box.
I would like to try Doom.
What's it called? It's called a tarantula hawk, isn't it? It's the thing. It's a type of wasp that kills and eats tarantulas.
Yeah.
It's that fearsome.
Jesus.
I don't like
It's
this.
bad, and I don't know where it is, but it's not in England, and I do not include it.
I see what you mean. Okay, if we compare the sort of humble British wasp
Yeah.
against the sort of flying, even like a hornet or something,
Yeah.
which just totally freaks me out and look just like a Satan's minion,
Yeah.
then they're not that bad. But they're not good.
Well, this is the thing. So because I quite like wasps, when I found them trapped inside my house, what I would do is I would pick them up in one hand
No.
and go and shove them outside.
What? You grabbing them by the wing? What are you doing?
You mean completely
firstly-
enclosing the wasp in your fist?
Of course not. You couldn't be doing that.
Why would you be doing that? Why would you do
It
that?
goes further. You're going to have to stop interrupting me. Because...
That
We're
remains to be
just-
seen.
We're so outraged.
So firstly, yes, to get them in my hand, I could grab it by the wing, pick it up and pick it up and put it there. I'd hold it in my hand and take it to the door. Now sometimes I don't reach the door before it starts trying to squeeze out through the gap in my hand. And what I could do is just close the gap till it's stuck there.
Oh,
It
dude.
can't move, it's struggling, and then I'll get to the door and throw it out. And they still never stung me. So when other people say, "Oh, these wasps are vicious," I'm like, I'm literally crushing it so it can't move and it won't sting me.
The wasp
I
whisperer.
don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, what you just that has absolutely blown my mind.
Same.
That has shaken core understandings
I've
that
got-
I have held for 34 years.
My brother Jem has a mark on his lip from when he was a kid and got stung by a wasp.
So
He was just sat there and the wasp just came along and went
So in
and
my
flew off.
memory, the only time
It was quite funny.
the only time I've been stung by a wasp was on the lip, but that is because it was on a piece of food, so I accidentally tried to eat it. And you know, you can. It's fair enough.
Indy, you've
He's
It
taken the
works.
wasp's side again.
you've utterly blown my. I
I
mean,
didn't
how
want to eat it, so
how
How many
many
times?
times have you done this?
Thank you.
several, loads of times.
As in you've lost count.
Yeah.
Ah.
I've never grabbed a wasp,
Never.
nor
wouldn't
would
even,
I.
I wouldn't even dream of it.
No.
Now, I in my old age, I've prided myself on knowing how to get rid of a wasp.
Yes.
Which is a
a
firm,
wafting.
deliberate wafting, no flapping, a
No.
firm, deliberate waft, and they
To give
respond.
it a full. You know what's
they,
quite good at it? The compressed air that you plug
I
in.
bet it is. Yeah.
Send it outside.
I learnt this from watching a Bulgarian friend of mine who's fishing. Older guy, so a man with experience, and again in Cyprus with the wasp with the fucking dangly downy things,
Okay.
and he would just basically, shoo them away with all confidence, like a bear would.
Yeah.
And it worked every time. Whereas me and his girlfriend were behind him, sort of like running around, like dodging these things, and they were coming for us. And I learned the technique from him. But what you have said
No.
has, I mean, you've blown me out the water.
Because it's a symbiosis with the wasp. This is
in
what
the-
you're talking
in
about.
the house-
It's like it's your buddy,
Well, in
and
the
you
house
see its
where-
little
He's
head
dominated.
in your hand.
He's dominated it.
Yeah.
He's shown dominance.
He's broken
So
it.
the thing is that in the house where I grew up, we had net curtains. So when these things try and get to the window, they get trapped between the net curtain and the glass, so you can actually get to them so easily.
So how
Why would
long
you
have you
ever
been
want
doing
to
this?
do? Yeah.
Well, I've
Yeah.
been doing it for a while,
Is this-
but
No, wait. But when
No,
was
but
the
when you
first?
said grew up, so you were a
Since
kid.
you were a kid, this is mental.
What is going
Indy.
on here? The wasp whisperer. What the fuck?
English wasps are not that bad, and I feel bad for them, frankly, because they're hated unreasonably.
Since you were a child?
Since I was a child.
Fuck, man. I mean, like, when I was a child, because when I was a child, I hated spiders.
Yeah. Oh, I still hate spiders. I'm not getting anywhere near
Spiders are on our side.
I do not want to get anywhere near them.
Bro, you should see the size of some of the spiders in my shed. To the point where I, as an old man who am no longer afraid of spiders, I'll be there, like, you know, just drilling something I see in the corner of my eye. I'm like, well, that one is very large.
But this is the thing, like, the fear of spiders has to be irrational in England because there's no way they can harm you.
Yeah, but
they can give you a little bite.
But I think the idea is the fear of spiders is like what's the word? Built in us.
Yeah.
It's like innate.
I have a very strong irrational fear of spiders, including small ones.
But why? What's wrong with? All they do is eight-legged freaks.
So weird.
Yeah,
unlike the wasp with its tidy
six.
Yeah. Aiken, my son, has it with spiders. Well, he went in his playhouse and there were some spiders in it, and he sort of won't go back in. Yeah. And I do that thing where I go, "Don't worry."
Wise kid.
But then in the back of my head, I'm like, "Yeah, if I'd have found spiders in my playhouse when I was a kid, I would not have gone back in. I'd have been like, and that playhouse is done."
And he hasn't even seen Arachnophobia.
Exactly. Which I think must be terrible. It must be terrible, Arachnophobia.
Surely, because it's no longer brought up ever.
Yeah,
when was the last time it was mentioned before now?
You're welcome.
When we were kids in the 90s, it was a really good film, but I imagine it's probably shit.
Probably shit.
Yeah.
I like The Fly, of course.
Which is incredible.
And I've watched multiple times and it's still fucking amazing.
It's so good I refuse to watch any sequel or spin-off because of what...
They're not going to be any good. Although, I haven't seen the original, which was like 15 years before.
I know. I'm the same. To my shame, I've not seen the original, and I probably definitely should. Although it could be bad. I watched the original B movie, Little Shop of Horrors, upon which the fun.
I thought you'd just come out with an original B movie.
Oh, you idiot! Speaking of The Fly, have you watched the Bee?
They didn't have animation, so they didn't.
They did it with bees, just poking them around.
Dead bee.
No, I watched the original letter B movie, Little Shop of Horrors, upon which the really fun musical, great film, Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, is in, and it's just a B movie. You're like,
But did it spoil your enjoyment and appreciation of Little Shop of Horrors?
No, but it did not add to my appreciation and enjoyment of Little Shop of Horrors.
So ultimately, it's kind of a worthwhile exercise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It emboldened the version I like.
Did it? Okay. Well, so maybe it was worth doing then. Yeah. But arguably, would you rather take that hour and a half and spend it on something else?
Especially because when I watched it, I thought I was going to get the Rick Moranis version.
Oh, you didn't realise it wasn't
and then I was like, oh, hey, well, I'll watch the original. Why not? That'll make me more... I have now learned something, but it wasn't really worth it.
But the fair bargain is not that you just take that 1.5 hours back of your life, but you also regain the ignorance of what the previous version was.
That's right. Yeah, if you could hit the switch, like in that Rick and Morty episode, right? Where he gets the do-over.
Yeah. You're not doing it over. Yeah. God, Rick and Morty's very good. Have you watched...
Vasted Acid episode.
Yeah. It is.
Is it?
It is the Vasted Acid.
Yeah, it's the plot alongside.
So the whole of the main plot just becomes a bitchy revenge.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's fantastic.
Have you watched the recent series? The most recent series, just finished it.
I have finished it.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I think.
It's more hit and miss.
I think it is good. I think I didn't like this previous series as much.
There's reservations in your voice right now.
No, there aren't as many. There are a few where you're like, this isn't amazing.
It's sort of
but don't forget, Mr. Nimbus was this season.
It's sort of less funny.
Yeah.
And there's that awful one, which is the Captain Planet episode.
Oh, that's so lame.
And the season finale...
Bit drawn out.
I didn't think it was great either. I thought...
Didn't need to be a two-parter.
Didn't need to be a two-parter, and I actually didn't think that the central concept was that good, actually.
Yeah.
I thought they sort of ruined something, but anyway, we don't want to ruin it for the listeners.
Watch
it, see what you think. It's better than the series before, is what I think.
Okay. I like the series before.
Yeah, I think it's better than the series before.
I'm not sure.
Definitely some standout. The Vindicators episode.
Oh, that's ages ago, though. The Vindicators is like series 3.
I think that's 3.
Yeah, and Vindicators,
not sure, but I think so.
Vindicators is incredible. Okay. Yes, Vindicators 3 is absolutely incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this season still had some episodes that will rank alongside the best ones.
I really enjoyed some of them.
it's more up and down than just like fucking hell. Every week is amazing.
Yeah.
It was more like, oh, I'm probably not going to come back and watch that one.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. Like sadly, I probably won't. I sort of rewatched the finale just because I was like, I just want to get my head around some bits and pieces.
Right, yeah. But the jokes are not.
Yeah, the jokes are
as
not
opposed
good,
to the one with Lil Ricky Wrap It Up.
That's really good. That said, Mike, the caveat.
I haven't seen that episode, but it sounds good.
I will say the caveat to my saying this is one of the reasons I absolutely love Rick and Morty is that whenever I'm still, God knows if my Netflix could tell you how many times I've watched something, it must show that I've watched Rick and Morty in full. I mean, probably dozens of times, and every single time I watch an episode, I find something new. Yeah. Not even joking.
Yeah.
So my caveat to my saying, I don't know how I feel about this series, is probably that if I rewatched it endlessly, I would find endless bits that I hadn't found before. Vat of Acid, I watched it the other day, found something new. Was
that from this season? It was.
No. Vat of Acid.
That was last season.
A while back, yeah.
That's one of my favourites of all time. But Mr. Nimbus was this season,
which is good. Yeah.
He controls police.
He controls the police. Yeah.
Time check. How are we doing?
It's now 8 o'clock.
Should we Little Ricky wrap it up?
Little Ricky wrap it up.
We've done 1 hour 25, so it feels like let's find some funny bit to finish on, and then we're done.
Yeah,
exactly. Some fun. So your Caitlin's been away all of 1, 2, 3 days, and you quote unquote miss her.
This is going to be a goldmine for comedy.
It should be hilarious. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of the house? Does it look like I've been...
Caitlin, the house looks absolutely fine, actually.
Yeah, no, it does look fine.
Yeah.
But I think, because before Caitlin, BC, you weren't that into plants, were you? Was it?
Don't forget, I was a gardener. I earned money gardening.
Your mother was very into plants.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Caitlin that led you this way.
Yeah, it is Caitlin that led me this way. I didn't have
some of the plants. Caitlin are looking a bit sad.
No, shut up. It's a change of season. I didn't used to have house plants really.
Right.
So in outdoor
way,
stuff.
Caitlin has left her stamp on this house because it's like a lovely bit of an oasis.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of plants. It's true. I mean, there's a shitload of plants. Who's kidding?
There is a shitload of plants. Yeah, bruv. It's like when you actually stop and look as well. You're like,
the annoying thing is because Caitlin doesn't really know how to look after them, so I am actually in charge of looking after all of them.
Slander.
That is public.
Slander committed to a record. Yeah.
Let's see if she has any complaints. I doubt it somehow.
Wow.
She looks after the ones in our bedroom a bit.
Don't take that.
Tweet, Caitlin. Tweet your revenge.
Yeah. You don't have houseplants at yours, do you? You've got them. We
have a stunningly small amount because Pascal and I are fucking awful at keeping them alive. We, for the listeners, we bought a house, and that the previous owner had done a marvelous job on the garden. And in the not even a year that we have got it, it has become an overgrown wild land that we know nothing about how to control.
To control, but at least the plants are growing well.
Yeah,
the ones in the house are dead. We've got a mint plant that lives above the sink. All we have to do in theory is give it some water every time you're doing the washing up. It's dead.
Mint is one of the most hardy...
Dead. We didn't give it attention. We didn't nurture it. It's dead.
One of my friends, apparently, I was over there and it's like, where's your monstera? So, I killed it. The monstera's dead. Monstera's just...
They're such a survivor.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
That and the pothos, I don't think it's possible to kill.
Also, I killed it is far more ominous than it died.
Yeah.
It's like, I killed it.
He acknowledged his neglect and enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was premeditated. Yeah. I came in one day with the scissors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was a guilt-ridden I killed it. Like, it's not your fault, Adam. It's not your... I mean, we know it is his fault.
We know it is, yeah.
We're trying to ease him through it, but he's...
Adam, if you ever listen to this, just know I don't forgive you. Other people might, but I don't.
Well, also, I don't forgive him. It's not that kind of friendship.
Chris, do you forgive Adam?
Adam whom? Adam whom? Oh, it's not right.
Adam the plant killer.
You know, Adam the plant killer.
Yeah.
I sympathise.
Chris has a lot of sympathy.
I sympathise.
It's a real Julius Caesar with the hovering thumb bit. It's like, what will he do?
I sympathise with Adam's plight, and I imagine that it was Look, some people aren't for plants.
Yeah.
Some people are destined for bigger things. Adam and I are they.
Were you weighing up whether you'd get more benefit from solidarity or from throwing Adam to the wolves and kind of coming in with us?
No offence to
Like Adam,
Rob. No offence to Rob's listening audience, but my standing amongst them is not a primary concern. I was just trying to consider whether I would denounce Adam, and I can't.
I thought you'd for sure just throw him to the wolves, but you know what? Good for you.
Thank you, man. I'm true to myself.
Chris is a notoriously good man.
Ah.
Yeah. Apart from when it comes to mint.
Yeah.
I'm sure he feels guilt about it.
Oh.
That's a more complex emotion than guilt. Thanks for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us 5 stars and consider becoming a subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon. Really, really, really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many, many thanks to Nils Hennis-Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1.